Alright, what's up YouTube? This is Mo, and I'm here with a brand new series. Now, what I've decided to do is, I've seen this a lot on YouTube, so I'm assuming it might work here, might work out, might not. I'm pretty much going to be DMing, and while I'm DMing, I'm going to be telling you guys a little story. Now, I have a ton of stories that have happened throughout my, 15 plus year career in gaming, and some of them are, little bits rated R for YouTube, especially lately with all this YouTube crap coming out where you can't say certain stuff and you gotta be advertiser friendly, all that stuff. So what I decided to do is just tell you guys a little story that kind of happened recently, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. It's not that long of a story, so I'm just gonna try to give you as much detail as I can without really saying stuff that wasn't supposed to be out there. This whole story actually wasn't really supposed to be out there, but I said, you know what, it's been a few months now, who cares, right? Basically, it starts off with a guy that a lot of you know to be the best in-game leader in the world at the moment, and possibly in history. He's none other than Fallen from Team SK, former Luminosity, former Keydstars, former Kaboom. I don't know, he's been playing for a long time. Bottom line is he's arguably the best in-game leader in the world right now, and one of the top players in the world. So he doesn't need an introduction, but I just gave him one. Basically, me and Fallen have been friends for a little bit. We've been friends for about maybe 6 months-ish since they came onto the scene. He's been a great guy. I've loved every interaction I've had with him. A while back, if you guys remember, Fallen owned a team by the name of Games Academy, which fast forward now is actually the team that's Immortals. And at the time when Fallen owned Games Academy, he was being approached by different organizations about possibly selling the team. And Fallen at the time reached out to me and told me, "Hey Mo, there's I think it was me that I heard the rumor that he was selling it to a team called Tempo Storm, right?" If you guys remember, they actually ended up going to Tempo Storm, and then they eventually became Immortals and all that. But Fallen reached out, or I reached out to Fallen, asked him if this is true, and I said I was at the time newly kind of with EchoFOX, not newly, but I've decided to full-time. At that time, I decided to full-time manage EchoFOX pretty much, and be general manager and do everything from there. What ended up happening was I contacted Fallen, and I said, "Hey man, I heard you're thinking about selling the team. I knew the price he was selling the team. I don't know if I could disclose the price, but I might as well, because it doesn't matter anymore, right? Am I going to get in trouble for this? I don't know. If I do get in trouble for this, I will blur out what I said." So the amount that, and I'm not 100% sure about this amount. This is purely between Fallen and Tempo Storm. But the amount that I heard that he was selling the team for was about 30,000 USD. Which, I mean, if you, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. So when I reached out to Fallen, I said, "Hey man, I hear you're about to sell this team for 30 grand. What's the deal? Why are why do you want to do this? What's happening?" And Fallen opened up and he said, "Honestly, man, I've been funding this whole thing from myself, and I could no longer afford it. The team at the time, Games Academy, wasn't getting a salary. They were living in a house that was across from the SK house, or the Luminosity house, not the SK house, and they didn't get any salary. They were the conditions were very, very bad, especially for the caliber of team they were. They were already like a top North American team, and like there was the potential was there. Everyone saw the potential at that time, and everyone was considering them like a top team. And for them to not be getting a salary, that's crazy, right? So I totally understood, but I felt like, getting rid of them for that cheap was like, Fallen, come on, man, like, that's too little. This is your team that you brought in, you did everything for them. I mean, what, 30 grand will pretty much not even break even. You'll actually end up losing money in the amount that you spend on rent and all that stuff before, and flying them out and all that, and different tournaments at the time that he sent them to. So basically, I proposed something to Fallen, and I said, "Hey, what if I buy the team, and I come in and I fund the team with you, but you own the team with me, so we actually co-own the team 50-50, and I'll fund it, and I'll pay the team salary, I'll pay the rent, I'll do all that." And at the time, like, in my head, the idea was great. Like, I was like, all right, I think I could do this. And if you guys remember, like, that's when I had a lot of sponsors, and I was making good enough money to where I thought it was a solid deal for me to do, right? After we crunched all the numbers, Fallen told me pretty much everything. Like, this is what the salary needs to be around. This is what Tempo Storm's offering. This is what the rent will be for the house they live in. And miscellaneous and management, and they have a manager. They also have a coach and all that stuff, right? So after all the numbers were said and done, it was going to cost me about $20,000 a month to run the team. And at the time, I was considering it so much to the point where I said, you know what, I think I want to do it. But then I went out and I even talked to a couple partners who shall remain nameless, who are not in the scene really at all. These are just guys that I know that tend to have money. And I asked them, hey, you guys, you mind, would you guys like to, go into this with me? And, we kind of split the cost, and this is how we will do it. And at the time, I was going to have maybe a three-way down the middle where we each have a 33% stake within the team, and we would keep it Games Academy, and we would just, at least, run the team to a certain point, and then maybe try to sell it in the future for a higher value, right? I had a couple of guys interested, but then ultimately they fell through. They said, you know what, no. Fallen still had to go talk to the team. He had to go talk to these players and say, hey, are you guys interested in this? Maybe they're not even interested, right? So Fallen went and talked to them, and this happened so fast. This whole thing happened within a couple days, literally, from start to finish. So Fallen actually went and had a team meeting. He literally walked across the street that night to talk to the players because they lived across the street from each other. So he went across the street to talk to them. And he told, they had the meeting, whatever. He calls me back the next day and he says, yo, good news. They all want to go with you. They've decided that they'd rather do the whole Games Academy thing and keep it going. And they're really excited, right? As soon as I heard that, I was like, dude, this shit's serious. Oh my God, am I going to do this? After the phone call, I literally just sat there for the next, couple hours. I talked to, my father. I talked to my fiance, I talked to a lot of people around, and the amount of money would have been the most money spent on a project for me at that point in my life, and it just seemed like a lot of money monthly to kind of part with. And I was willing to do it, but then after talking to certain people, family, friends, and stuff, I just kind of got they kind of implanted in my head the thought of, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe this is going to fail. Maybe you're just going to spend money and it's going to go nowhere and all this, right? And ultimately, that led me to tell Fallen, hey, man, honestly, I thought about it and I'm having second thoughts. I think you guys should just do the other deal. Just go with Tempo. I know it's whatever, but at least, you get some money out of it, and I just don't want to, make promises I can't 100% keep, because I don't want to, tell the guys, yeah, I'll fund this thing for 6 months plus or whatever, and then it ends up not working out, and then I'm out of a lot of money, and I have nothing to show for it, right? So, as you guys know, Games Academy became Tempo Storm. They had great success as Tempo Storm. They were playing, they were doing well. I was super proud of the guys. I was watching, keeping up with how they were doing, right? And everything was cool, and a couple months pass, and all of a sudden there's rumors that, I heard these rumors. I was at E-Lead, as you guys know. I was an analyst at E-Lead, and probably the best analyst at E-Lead, bar none. But as I was there were some rumors around, and there was talks about Immortals. I knew the owner of Immortals. I talked to him before. I actually talked to the owner of Immortals during this whole Games Academy thing before they went to Tempo Storm, and I told him, hey, when I decided against it, I said, oh, I don't want to leave these guys hanging, and maybe I'll find an org that will, maybe pay Fallen more money or give them a better deal, so that at least, I'm not worthless to these guys, because I ended up not taking the deal. So I actually talked to the owner of Immortals, and I told the guy, yo, if you're still interested in a team, because I know he was interested in a team from a while back, since before January, I told him there's a team called Games Academy. They're Brazilian. They're looking really great, and they're going to be a top team in North America. They have a lot of potential. They're getting offers right now from Tempo Storm, and if you're interested, you should talk to this Fallen guy and maybe make an offer and get them, right? So the guy was like, yeah, I'll talk to him, and like I introduced them to each other, right? But nothing came of it. And I went to the guy and I was like, dude, what happened? He's like, honestly, man, everything happened so quick, and they needed to make a decision with Tempo Storm, and Tempo Storm was saying like they'll remove the offer off the table if they don't take it. So blah blah blah. They went with Tempo Storm, and I was like, fuck, like that was a good opportunity for Immortals, because the guy is a nice guy. The Immortals owner is a great guy, and I wanted him to get a good team under his belt. So when I'm at Elite and we're hearing these rumors that Immortals is gonna buy out Tempo Storm. They're gonna buy Tempo Storm because they want Tempo Storm. Because there was some drama back then with Tempo Storm and Elite, and no one knew the exact story. I don't even know the exact story, whatever. But basically, Immortals wanted to buy Tempo Storm's CSGO team, so Tempo Storm CSGO team can play in Elite, right? And it was like pretty much done, like the deal was done. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, because that's the deal I tried to get done. I'm happy for the guys, right? So I'm thinking over there, I'm like, oh, I wonder, what kind of deal this is. And as it came around, and this isn't exact, this could be plus minus some money, but allegedly, Immortals paid $700,000 for the Tempo Storm CSGO team. So when I heard this, I had butterflies in my stomach. Like I was about to shit myself. I was like, what the fuck? Because here's why. There's two things that bothered me about this, and I mean, first off, I'm so happy for the guys in Immortals, or the guy, the Tempo Storm, the Brazilians, for finding an org that's that has that much resources and will spend that much on them, and they're gonna probably take great care of them, which they, so far, all we've seen in history is they have been taking great care of them, right? What bothered me was that if I wasn't such a pussy and I just took the chance of funding this team for 2 months, that I would have been able to sell this team to Immortals for that amount of money, right? That's the number one thing that I was like, oh my god, me and Fallen, dude, Fallen messages me, he's like, we fucked up, and I was like, we fucked up. We felt so, like, not robbed, because it was, at the end of the day, we made the decision, and you know what, it wasn't meant to be, and but it's just, that's one of those things that I'll always remember, like, I really should have trusted my gut feeling, because there's a lot of things in life that I don't know much about, right? But when it comes to esports, and it comes to this business of esports, I should just trust my gut. When I think of a team, when I know a team, when I know players, when I know potential, this and that, I need to just trust my experience, trust my judgment, and say, this is worth it. And that's what I originally said to myself before I got brainwashed into thinking differently, right? The other thing that bothered me about this was the fact that I went to Immortals before all of this, and I said, hey, this team is about to be bought for 30 grand. If you make a slightly better offer, you could buy this team right here. So all the Immortals guys had to do was just offer 50 grand or something, and he would have had that team. Instead, fast forward 2 months, the guy ended up paying 700,000. So who wins in all this? Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm bought the team for 30 grand, sold them for 700 grand, guys. That's $670,000 profit on a team. Now, whatever, let's say 2 months, 20,000 each month went away, blah, blah, blah. You still, I'm gonna, like, look, this is why I'm wearing a hat, by the way, because my hair is fucked up. My hair is fucked up, and it's hat hair, so I'm keeping this shit on. But, let's see, what's the moral of this story? What am I trying to do here? Why am I saying this to piss everyone off, right? Moral of the story is, and this happens in life to a lot of people, if there's something in life where it's a risk and you're afraid to take it, most of the time you're gonna be right into not taking the risk, because a lot of us, there's a lot of times where you don't take a risk and it ends up failing anyway, and you feel great, you're like, yeah, thank God I didn't do that. But there's also gonna be times like my time where you should have trusted yourself, trust your gut, and go with it and see what happens, even if it's a scary thing. At the end of the day, at least you tried and you did it. And here I can say that I honestly didn't try, and I don't ever regret anything, because I feel like there's always things that are meant to be and things that aren't meant to be. But I'm super happy that I was even part of this and I had the opportunity to do it, and I could only now just be smarter about it, and hopefully if opportunities in the future present themselves, that I have the presence of mind to take them. With that being said, guys, I want to say thank you first and foremost for watching. If you watched this whole thing through, I hope you did. And I want you to comment below if you kind of like this stories with Moe thing that I'm doing, or if you prefer something a little bit different. I don't know. Any improvements you'd like to see to this, please just comment below. And again, thank you so much, guys. You guys have been watching my YouTube for a long time now, and it's actually like starting to really pay off for me, and it's making my life a lot easier, having to deal with this freaking YouTube guy that I can't seem to get rid of. But with that being said, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you later.